What's up, everyone? I'm Anthony Cofrancesco from datadive, and this is Office Hours, and this is a special session that we have today. Um, First off, for anyone who's datadive has come a really long way, and I'm sure there's some people, we've got 71 live participants on the call today, and I want to know who here, while we're waiting for everyone else to join, who here is one of the original OG users. One of our team members, Glenn, had actually posted these into our Slack a few weeks ago, and this is the original datadive. And I'm curious to know, type in the chat sheets if you're one of the original people that saw datadive in the very early days when we used every sheets, the really basic version. I'm curious to hear who's here all the way from the beginning, as well as if you are on this call right now and you don't have an active datadive subscription. Maybe you've used this before and you canceled your subscription and now you're hearing about these new product updates and you want to check things out. If you don't have a subscription, I want you to type into the chat new, and what we're going to do is we'll record that, and a member of the sales team will reach out, they'll schedule a demo, they'll show you all of the new features, they'll get you onboarded and set up, and even get you started with a free trial of our starter plan, which is just enough to get your hands dirty using the tool. Now, on this call today, it's not just going to be me talking. We actually have three members of our development team that are here in the end. This is a rare and special treat. It's not every day that we have members from the dev team. These are the people who are really the brains behind the operation, building the nuts and bolts of datadive. So we've got three of those people here on the call today. We have Valak, who is our VP of Engineering and Operations. We have Ian, who is our Senior Vice President of Product and Engineering. We also have Ryan, who's our Product Manager of PPC. So stick around to the end of the call. We're going to be going through 4 new features that are live and available to everyone now, as well as if you stick around till the end of the call, we'll even have a sneak peek of some of the new features that are coming down the pipeline that you should get even more excited about for the future of datadive. Now, just like with all of our office hours sessions, there's 2 different ways that you can ask questions. And we're going to ask that you can put questions throughout, but we're going to handle all the Q&A in the end. So you can either raise your hand. We're going to prioritize anyone who raises their hand. We'll ask you to unmute yourself. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to ask questions versus typing it out. But if your preference is to type your question, you can put those into the chat and we'll answer all of those in the end. So what we're going to be covering now are some of the new feature releases. This is what we're going to be talking about today. We have our niche dive. We're going to be walking through each one of these one by one. I'm going to share a couple slides, and then I'm going to go over into the tool and then give you a quick rundown of each of these parts. So niche dive is the fastest way now to get started with new research. It really speeds up the process for what it used to be like, which is very manual. We also have niche compare, which allows you to do a side-by-side comparison to any previous dive that you've done. It allows you to see critical insights and how the niche has evolved. We're going to be going through reports, which is a heavily requested feature, giving you insights into how your niche is performing, your PPC metrics. We've enhanced navigation options. We've also added additional ability to schedule dives, as well as a few other options. So the first one that I want to start with is the niche dive. And like I said, this is an automated way that you can start your dive. Now, if you have a large product portfolio, a large product catalog, this is something that used to take sometimes hours to onboard all of your products into datadive. It was incredibly time consuming. I was working with a good friend of mine who has about 15 products, and I timed myself start to finish. It used to take about like 2 hours to onboard all of those products, get your dives, get set up. With niche dive, this is something that is going to take just a few minutes now, and it's really easy to do. So from any page inside of datadive, you'll see this blue button in roughly the top center part of the tool that says niche dive. And all you have to do is click on this button, and then you're going to see a menu pop up. And all you have to do is enter an ASIN. And then we have an algorithm that works in the back end that is going to look at the ASIN that you've selected, and then it's going to build a niche of similar products versus having to go manually and add products either to your ASIN tray or to click those toggles one by one. Again, making this a lot faster. So once I get through this quick explanation, I'll show you what it looks like inside of the tool. Today, what I'll be using is, and you've seen this in office hours many times before, I've used a cat tree or a cat tower. So I've just grabbed an ASIN here, I paste it into this bar, and then I'm selecting my marketplace. And then you can go from 15 competitors up, how many competitors you'd like to have included in that dive. And then datadive is going to work in the background to make all of this happen for you. So let me just walk through what that looks like here. I'm going to come over into the tool. You can see I've come to the Amazon search results page. I've typed in cat tower, and our recommendation to get the best results is to go with one of the best sellers, most likely the best seller for the niche, and choose that to be what you're going to use to model the niche dive off of. So if I go into this product here, and I already have this pulled up, so I don't really need to go through and do this, but I'm just going to Control F ASIN. You can see I've already done this. And then I'm going to copy this. And then I'm just going to go over here to niche dive, paste this in here, choose as many competitors that I want. For the purpose of this demo, I'm just going to choose 15. And then I'm going to click create niche. And so now what datadive is doing is it's looking at the product that I've selected, and it's going to find me 15 relevant competitors, 15 similar competitors, versus having to go and manually select each of those yourself. And it's going to build me a brand new niche just from that. So we'll let this run here. Depending on the size of the niche, it might take a little bit longer. I'm also working on a hotel internet connection right now, so you'll probably find that on your own device, it'll be a little bit faster. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
And the other thing to add, Anthony, is you actually can do niche dive from the SERP as well.
Yep.
So there's three different paths to get to a similar outcome. If you want to also evaluate, you know, what best competitors we're selecting for you, you can also dive via the dive box still. So there's a couple different paths, and we're working on documentation and videos to supplement it, but you are able to still manually go and validate whether or not our algorithm has picked the right ones for you. So it's just something to keep in mind when you're using this new feature, that we aren't trying to push you away from the Amazon space. We think that that's obviously a super important part of understanding how to sell, is, you know, knowing what the marketplace, the storefront looks like. But especially when just looking at, you know, just trying to get something set up quickly to maybe get a rank radar up and running, or just evaluating potential opportunities. Another really cool use case for niche dive with best competitor selection will come up when we show the scheduled dives as well. So we'll show that in a little bit.
Heck yeah. Cool. So you can see here, based on the product that I've selected, it's giving me all of these are cat towers, cat trees, very similar results. We're not really getting anything out of the norm here. This is a very well-established niche. I think this niche is selling, you know, we're talking millions of dollars a month for this product category. So this is really well hashed out. It's very easy for the algorithm in this case to find similar products. Now, what I do want to note as well, and I think this gets into the next slide here, is talking about giving some feedback on, well, I'm all over the place with these slides, is giving some feedback, which you're going to see here right in the middle of the screen. So let's say that you do a dive and you're not super thrilled with the results that you're seeing. We do have this button that's right on top of the research where you can click the niche dive feedback and how satisfied you are with the results. Ian, do you have any feedback or any ideas on what kind of feedback is helpful for the dev team to get as we continue to develop this algorithm and develop this part of the tool?
Understanding what ASIN you dove with, which we can generally pull from our analytics, but um, these first couple questions are just really more about how you feel about the feature, whether or not you think that it's providing value and simplifying your day to day. And then in here, just anything that you think could help us improve, like whether it's new features, better visibility into how we're picking things and all those types of things. Um, yeah, so we've had a handful of people reach out and we've been able to identify a couple of fixes we can make on our side. So it's generally just helpful to reach out and let us know if you've bumped into a wall. We'd rather hear that there's an issue than you suffer in silence.
Sounds good. And there's also some feedback as well. Like if you're trying to dive in a niche that is too small or potentially too specific, and you're not getting a good consistent set of results from niche dive, it's likely that you're looking at a niche that it might actually be too small. Sometimes you'll see
Yeah.
that with really specific items. Do you have anything more to add on to that?
Um, the the system will let you know if a niche is too shallow, like there's not enough information about um there's not enough sales data or there's not enough search volume and we're not able to actually identify best competitors. So for those really shallow niches, if you're still going forward with them, a manual dive is going to be um your path forward there. Um yeah, that would be the best advice that we can give on that. If it's resulting in no results, you're going to need to go on the manual path.
Cool. And like we said earlier, make sure that when you're starting these dives, don't go to the second, third page of search results. Potentially, if you have a brand new product, maybe even consider not starting the niche dive using your own product. Try to get the more
Yep.
established sellers in the niche. You want to try to model that niche off of the top relevant competitor for your niche.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the niche dive best competitor selection is going to work more. It's going to work more effectively in places where there's lots of data. That's how we're running the algorithm. So if it's not working for you, reach out. We can see if there's something we can tune on our side, or we can help you with some documentation and uh, guides for how to go and do it through the SERP with the dive box.
Excellent. So we already talked about this, the niche dive feedback button. Then again, this is going to save you a lot of time. We go to conferences, we go to events. Some people have hundreds, if not thousands, of products in their portfolio. This is going to allow your team to go and bring everything into data dive. And it's not really about the niche dive per se. It's about the other features that are built off of the niches that we're building. And the one that I'm really excited about, there's a few that I'm excited about here, but niche compare is really cool. And what this allows you to do is perform a side by side comparison to any previous dive that you've done on your account and actually see how the metrics for that niche have evolved over time. So again, I'll go into the tool and show you how to do this, but just from a high level, you're going to see in the top right hand corner this toggle for compare. And if you're inside of a niche and you click that, you're going to be able to compare any two periods of time that you have research completed for. So you can see in this example, I just pulled this before getting onto this office hours call where I had a dive that I did 55 seconds ago, pretty much as recent as it can be, compared to a dive from about 5 months ago, which was 25 weeks. So you can compare any point of time. If let's say that you have a niche that you've just created, you went and used the niche dive button, created a new set of research, so you only have research for one point in time. Well, in this case, you're going to be prompted to update your research, and actually, even if you have multiple data points, it's always, I think, going to prompt you to say, "Hey, do you want to update this research as of today?" So all you have to do there is click the Update Now button, And then now you're going to be able to see all of these metrics. You're not going to be able to see so much here on this screen. So let me go back over to the tool and I'll show you what some of those metrics look like here. So just like I was saying, I've got this dive. This is one. Nope, this isn't the one I want. Here we go. So this is the niche. This is the one that I've been using in office hours for quite some time. This is the cat tower. And what I've done is I have the dive that I've done from, you know, just a short while ago to a dive from 25 weeks. If I would want to dive again now, I could do that. Although keep in mind, every time you do a new dive, it's going to use the credits inside of your data dive account. So with a standard account, you're going to be able to add 1,000 competitors to research every month. So it is going to pull from that quota. It wouldn't really make sense for me to dive it again now because I just literally did it earlier today. And as you're going to see here, it's showing me for all of the metrics shown on datadive, you're going to see the comparison. So you can see different things like how the revenue has changed for the niche, how search volume has changed, how organic ranks have changed. And Ian, maybe it might be helpful for you to walk through some of this. Like, I know where we're going to get some questions are about looking at the numbers and the color coding for organic rank. I think everything else is pretty straightforward, right? But do you think you can just walk us through what does it mean here if I'm seeing the keyword cat tree and I'm looking at this top seller and I see that they're in position 9, but it says -6. What does that mean?
It went from 15 to 9 is what
Okay.
it's inferring there. So
So
green
the
numbers are positive movement. There is an enhancement that we're gonna do, which is gonna be replacing the pluses and the minuses with arrows, because that would be much more clear. And yeah, the other place that I'd point is if you sort the type column beside search terms on the left bottom row. No, sorry,
oh
that not
yeah.
that one. That one there. Hit it again. You can see we're identifying emergent keywords, so keywords that weren't there 25 weeks ago that have met the threshold to be included on the MKL. And if you scroll down on that as well, eventually we'll get to keywords that have gone to the residue, so they've dropped below the threshold. And then same thing with outliers. And then there's also, it doesn't look like any keywords were dropped explicitly. There also can be keywords that just drop off entirely. Yeah, I think that clarify a lot of the things. If there's any questions on that, feel free to type them in the chat. But
I think that's pretty straightforward. What I would recommend is if you go into your research, play around with the toggle. If you don't have an updated set of research where you have more than one point in time that you can compare, go and compare. Definitely go and check that out. Look around at the different metrics, and yeah, play
yeah,
around inside.
the other piece to point out there before we jump to the next one, sorry.
Yep.
I like to just highlight the pin competitors. So that's going to
Mm-hmm.
be useful. So you can either pin your own product or your competitors that you want to keep the closest eye on, and that's going to allow you to do a little bit more granular comparison. One of the pieces that we would like to enhance in the future is better clarity around the color coding of the ranks in the columns, because if it's your product, for example, and you're ranked number 1, that might not necessarily need to be coded as red. So we're going to look to enhance just the clarity on those things in the future.
Yeah, I like that you brought up the pin feature. I know this was a heavily requested improvement in the tool for quite some time. How do I reorganize the order of the keywords in the MKL? And we do have a video on the YouTube channel that explains this. One of the other things that you can do, not everyone knows about this, aside from, let's say this is my product and I want to pin this so it's showing up here, or maybe this brand here is a competitor that I want to keep an eye on. I can pin it and it'll bring it to the left. You also have some additional ability to reorganize the MKL. Previously, everything was displayed in order of the number of units that are sold. Now you're going to see you can organize the MKL by a bunch of different ways. You can read all of them here. Uh, I like to look at the SV on P1 on page 1. So who's going to have the highest percentage of keywords in the MKL that they're ranked for. but other really great ones to look at are like who is selling the most in terms of revenue,
Yep.
right? Who has the highest reviews, and you can play around with these different views. Really good for getting quick insights into the niche. Okay, so back to the slides here. That's our niche compare. The next one here that we're going to talk about is reports. And so again, another heavily requested feature of the tool. This is going to get better and better over time. But now what you're able to see is advanced analytics and insights in a reporting feature right here inside of datadive. So for these, I don't have too much to show. Well, here's what I will show you. Let's go over here. So what I've done is I just pulled one of the products. This is the Best Pet, one of the cat trees. And I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what you can expect to see in reports. You can run these reports on your own. If you come to the left-hand side tab, you'll see this button for reports. And if you click on it, you're going to be able to see all of the active rank trackers that you have. And then you can just click on any of these to generate a report for. And you can actually generate multiple, up to 10 reports at a time. You can go and create more as you'd like. Now, keep in mind, this is going to be important for you. For this product, I'm not actually selling a cat tower. This is just an example that I use for office hours. This is not going to have any PPC data in it because obviously I'm not selling this product. I don't have a PPC account to connect to. We have other products on our datadive account that do have PPC accounts connected, but we can't show those products because they're either our own individual products or clients that we consult for. And so that's why this PPC data is going to be blank. If you've gone through and actually connected your PPC account, you're going to see this information populated here. But just from a high level, you're going to be able to see things like how your market share is changing relative to the niche. You're going to be able to see your gainers and losers for search terms, how your organic ranks are changing, as well as being able to see like your ad metrics, your performance for different keywords specifically. Um, you know, if you're going to drill things down by routes, you're going to be able to see that all inside of the report page. Ian, can you talk a little bit about this as well? Like, I know this is going to be a common question, the copy of the report link.
Yep.
What happens if you share that with someone?
Um, it's generally meant for internal sharing at the moment. So folks that are within your organization that you want to share the view with, you'll be able to share that link. Soon, if not already, I have to double check. We do have the intention to enable you to share these reports externally. And if you're an agency or a large brand that could be an exciting thing for you to work on, we'd love to talk with you. So reach out to us directly through Facebook or in chat. The other thing that's there is you just clicked it, it's the export button. So you are able to create a PDF so you can snip these screenshots for folks in the future. I'm just pulling it up to double check. I'll verify the copy report link, but the intention is that you should be able to share that with, external people and share these views with them as well. But yeah, so there's the report. It just finished there, Anthony.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to highlight here is I really like the export to PDF. So if you are an agency and you're working with clients, it's a great tool to be able to use. What I've actually seen already, and after this office hours next week, we're going to get back into our real world case studies. And we already have a handful of agencies that we've been working with that are generating these reports. And I've seen it done in some really cool ways where they're taking screenshots from the PDF, they're slapping it directly into a slide deck presentation that they're giving to their clients on a regular basis. Like, hey, here's how the niche is evolving. Here's how the performance of what we've been working on for your products, your brands. Here's what's changed.
Yeah.
So play
So
around with that. Yeah, go ahead.
there's one comment about the reports data or the PPC data not working in reports properly. One thing to consider is that we're only bringing in tracked search terms that are in your rank radar right now. We are evaluating as we get deeper and deeper into PPC how we can kind of pull the entire PPC data set that you have across that ASIN with those ad groups. Another thing to consider is that your campaign and your ad group strategy is really important. So we shouldn't be combining multiple ASINs in the same groups, because that makes it not possible for us to separate those concerns and display the proper data. So we do have resources on how we recommend you set up your PPC campaigns. Um, yeah, so that would be my advice. And if you are having any issues with your PPC data, reach out to support, and we triage it and fix it pretty quickly as best we can.
Sweet. All right, so that is reports. Play around with those. Run some reports. Make sure that you have your PPC account connected. We have a couple of videos on the YouTube channel that explain how to set that up. It's super easy, and once you have that integration working, it's just going to run in the background, and you're going to be able to see that PPC data in reports and other areas of the tool as well. So another thing that I'm going to show real quick is this enhanced navigation menu. So previously, if you wanted to go to your other research that you've had, and I've seen it, I know in my own dive account, I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dives that I've done um, over the couple of years that I've been here at datadive. We see it inside of clients' accounts. Typically, what you'd have to do is go back to the niche pipeline to be able to navigate around the tool. What we've done now is we've added a header up here on the top of the screen, where now you can navigate directly to any of the niches that you have. You can see that in this example, I've typed in office hours, OH, because that's how I title all of the dives that I do for office hours. And if you've been joining for a while, you'll see like, here's the kids' binoculars, the kids' trampoline. Obviously, we've got the cat tree. And I can easily see I can see all of the research that I've done. I can see where I have active rank radars going, and I can filter to set up your spaces and labels. You can do all of that in one spot. So drop down here. You can see I've already got OH put in for office hours, and it's going to show me everything that I have for that filter. We're not going to take too much time on this call to really dive into the spaces and labels here, but
Yep.
you know,
So one of the things to highlight there for spaces and labels is under the details tab at the top beside the exclusions, outside of this menu, Anthony.
yep.
You can click add space or add label there. And if you have permissions within the systems, there's a new create new button at the bottom. So you can we missed it there. Yeah. You can create new spaces, add access, and you can do this all right wherever. So you no longer have to go into the product settings section and set all these up. So this should streamline a lot of your management of these spaces and labels within the app. And we do have plans to further enhance those and automate the creation of those in the next couple months. But just for now, we've moved that out of the administrative area into the tool. So that should help in organization of things.
Sweet. Cool. So that is the enhanced navigation. And then a couple more things here. So scheduled dives. Most people are going to see, I know I saw this notification today. So you're probably going to see this unless you've dismissed the notification, but you can click on this button here to set up scheduled auto dives for your niches. This is going to automatically schedule dives at any given frequency, or you can navigate directly to niche tracker and you can set these up. So you just click on this button again. You can either dive the niche right now at that point in time, or you can schedule an auto dive. And then if you click on that button, it's going to give you the ability to choose the frequency. And then, when these dives are going to happen, you can drop in your ASIN, how many competitors you want in the dive, and you can basically set
So
all the parameters
yeah,
right here.
the important nuance there is at the top, you can pick niche with the sparkles. So that's going to use the best competitors algorithm to go out there and, add or drop competitors. Or you can just go and redive the existing ASINs automatically. And you're able to do that on the frequency schedules. And at the bottom, when you're doing the niche dive, you actually have the ability to lock certain competitors. So whether it's your product or your products or a competitor that you just want to keep there no matter what. Um, and hopefully that really streamlines your process of keeping your niches relevant and up to date.
Sweet. I'm not going to go back into the tool and show that. I think it's pretty self-explanatory here. Um, that's pretty much it. So a couple other things that I wanted to note. So I'll just show everyone here. If you haven't used the niche tracker in a while, you'll find that on the left-hand panel. You can go straight to the niche tracker. And then here's where you can click on the button to schedule your auto dives. Again, I do want to remind everyone that if you're running these auto dives, these are going to pull from your quota for the month. So again, with a standard account, you have 1,000 competitors that you can add to research every month before that resets. If you're getting close to or you exceed that quota, it's no big deal. You can just go inside of your settings and you can adjust and increase your quota. We're seeing more and more people do this. My recommendation is if you are running these dives, just keep an eye on this. If I wouldn't necessarily be running auto dives for products that you're not actively working on optimizing unless you're going
Yep.
to be using that data. So maybe instead of going weekly, you might go to something more like monthly to run the auto dives. Just be cognizant of that. And then, so the other thing that I wanted to mention, and then I think we're going to open it up for Q&A, is the feedback button. So the location of the feedback button has changed inside of the tool. You'll notice that now it's in the top right-hand corner of the screen. And I do want to reiterate, I really want to highlight that our team, I don't know what other software tools do, but our team actually does read this feedback. It's super helpful for us while we're developing the tool and making it better. So if you see something inside of the tool, let's say it's a data issue, you're noticing a bug, or it's just an overall improvement that you'd like to see in the product, go and click on this feedback button. For those of you who have been coming to office hours for a while, if I see the same kind of feature request over and over and over again, I'll say, look, guys, go and click on that feedback button, because if the dev team sees people asking for a feature enough, they're going to potentially move things up the priority list. It's not a guarantee that things are going to change, but the way that we develop data dive is based on what's the business need. Are users actually going to use these different features of the tool? So a lot of the things that we're releasing today and some of the sneak peeks that we're going to give you have come from users repeatedly saying over and over again, hey, I want to see this inside of the tool. And that's how we determine what the priorities are. Um,
Anthony,
yep.
two more things.
Yeah, of course.
If you close out of that and you go into our little question mark in the bottom right, the
Okay.
blue round guy,
Yep.
there's data dive feedback preferences at the bottom here.
Yep.
So you can turn off in-app surveys. We're still gonna let you know when new features are released, but if you turn off in-app surveys, we're not going to send you pop-ups to tell us how we're doing or ask you for feedback on specific features. And the second one is opting into user studies. So Ryan, product management, myself, the engineering team, we're working on new things and we need real customers to ensure that we're building the right things for all of you. So that's one of the paths that you can opt in. You might also see pop-ups if you're using a feature and we're able to identify you as someone who's, um, you know, using a feature and you might have some good insights. So we might toss an in-app pop-up for you on that. So there's just two ways that you can stay in touch with us as well, a little bit more in depth.
For everyone who's stuck around here till the end, these features are not yet live for everyone, but I want to give you a quick sneak peek of some of the things that are coming down the pipeline. Data Dive is going to keep getting better and better. We're super proud of how far the tool has come, but we're still a long way from where we are going into the future. And this is the motivation for everyone to go run these niche dives, go set up reports, play around with these features, because the sellers that spend the time to understand this tool are going to have a big leg up on the competition. Eventually, we're confident that everyone is going to be using Data Dive. We have a really good vision of where selling on Amazon FBA is going, and we have the most comprehensive tool suite that's only going to get better and better. As time goes on, data dive is going to be more an AI that's going to assist you to do more with smaller teams, be more efficient. One of the things that's going to be coming down is a PPC audit. So you can see a little bit of a sneak peek over on the left-hand side of the screen. There's going to be a limited beta group that's starting soon, really for our inner circle members first and foremost. And this is going to get better and better throughout the year. It's going to look at the PPC campaigns that you're running and give you insights as to where you should be getting more aggressive in terms of PPC, where you're cannibalizing your PPC efforts, and you're going to be able to run these reports, for each individual product in your category, in your portfolio rather. As well, you're going to see coming shortly. I don't want to say an exact time frame on this, but inside of Rank Radar First, you're going to have the ability to add your own search terms. This is probably the number one most requested feature inside of the tool, as well as the ability to harvest search terms. And then you're going to see first the 1.0 version of our PPC audit. Anything to add there, Ian, or are we all good there?
For the, I mean, we got to go through all the questions, but for add search terms, right now with the most asked for requests is I just want to, pull all the search terms from another tool, or these are the hypothetical search terms that I think I should be advertising on, and I want to track those. And we don't enable you to do that right now. So there's a couple ways that you can find those search terms. If you have a competitor that is ranking or advertising on those search terms, if you go add them to your MKL, in theory, you would get access to those search terms within the Rank Radar. The other one is obviously searching within the outliers and residue to see if you can pull it across. That's another method. But we understand that that's an inexcusable amount of friction. So we're going to solve that. We're starting the technical implementation of that super soon. And then harvesting search terms with the scheduled dives, as well as pulling information out of your Amazon sales reports. We're going to implement a pool where these search terms are going to be dropped, and you can make the decision on the operational side whether or not you want to start tracking those. And yeah, the PPC audit V1, that is our, our feature that's going to, create enough value that we feel like it's ready for the general population to get in and use. And there's going to be some really exciting insights that we're going to drive there to hopefully really just simplify how you can understand how well your PPC campaigns are performing or how well they are not performing, so that you might be able to make better decisions around what types of changes you might make within those. It's not going to be a PPC management product. We're not going to allow you to, effectively enable those strategies from datadive yet. That's future. We will be getting there. It's just, this is our first step in there.